welcome to Blue Couch Reviews. I'm your host, John. I have a special guest host. He is our TV expert. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi, my name is Carlos Gonzalez. I pretty much watch almost every TV show having to do with comics related. So I'm a huge Flash fan and huge Arrow fan. Happy to be here.
Sweet, that works for me. We're talking about the Flash versus Arrow CW crossover that just happened. It was a big one. Let's dive right into it. In the episode, you have basically Flash's team. They're working a case, and the Arrow team show up in Star City, and they cross over, they interact, and it all leads down to a showdown between the Flash versus the Arrow, because the Flash has been whammied by the meta-human villain in the episode, and that makes Barry very angry, and he starts attacking the people in the episode, and Arrow has to step in to stop him.
Is that all you got?
What did you think?
I really liked it. I thought it was an enjoyable episode. You've got, I think, the two best parts. For me, one was the actual fight between the Flash and the Arrow. I thought that was handled very well. Very good special effects. And then, of course, you get to see the interaction between the characters of Team Arrow and Team Flash, which is hilarious.
Yeah, so. Definitely one of the better moments was seeing Diggle's response to seeing the Flash in person. He had heard about him, but seeing and being told are two different things. His response was awesome. What was it?
I think he was just in awe and shock over an actual metahuman, someone who had superpowers. I think this was one of his best, not best, but one of like the most enjoyable episodes. I think for a fan to see Diggle actually like kind of respond, because he's so much of a reserved character.
Yeah. That
to see him actually have his jaw drop or be set back a little bit was pretty fun for me.
Yeah, they had a lot of good moments like that. One of the other moments in the episode was when Flash rushes Felicity over to the lab, and her shirt catches on fire, because that's what happens when you go so fast.
That was pretty sweet. I'm just gonna say Felicity Smoke is hot. So, and then of course Cisco's reaction was classic. I'm never gonna forget this moment.
Yeah, so had the Flash versus Arrow. Had a lot of good little tidbits like that for all the fans that watch the show. Let's talk about the fight. That's the whole reason for the episode. Did it work for you, the live action of it?
I thought the live action was handled very well. Like I said, their first interaction, I do think there's going to be more conflicts between them, since they're friends / always competing. I think we'll see a round 2 and maybe possibly a round 3 of Flash vs. Arrow. So for the first encounter, I thought it was handled very well.
Yeah, I totally agree with the... I really dug the episode. I'm a pretty big Flash TV show fan myself, so I had a lot to like about it. One of the negatives I had about it was after the big fight, it just seems like the whole metahuman that they were trying to chase down, they never showed them working together. They basically cuts a commercial after the Flash vs. Arrow fight, comes back, the metahuman is now in prison because he's been caught. We don't see it. Seemed like they just ran out of money.
I think they probably ran out of time and budget. Like I said, the fight between the Flash and Arrow, I thought was really, really well done. And yeah, it was just all of a sudden a little bit jarring. Next thing you know, they're locking him up in their prison, and he's yelling behind them.
Yeah.
But I was willing to let that slide, because we had so much good interaction between the two teams.
Yeah.
And the fact that it basically just set up the next episode, part 2 of the Flash and Arrow coming together.
Yeah, so there you have it. I liked the episode. I thought it really worked good. I'm going to give it 3 lightning bolts out of 4. How about you?
I'm going to give it 4 out of 4. It had that minor, slight detail where you said where they kind of brushed over the main villain of the episode, but I really enjoyed it. I think probably I've liked all the Flash episodes, but this one was really, I think, more fan service. And for that, I'll give 4 out of 4.
All right, so that's the Arrow versus Flash. Now we're getting into the second crossover they did, the Brave and the Bold. This is definitely an Arrow episode, primarily focused on the Arrow characters, but then the Flash team shows up in Starling City to interact with them. And how did it work for you?
It worked really well. Seeing the different shooting styles and the difference between Starling City and the Flash's city was night and day. You know, one city is all bright and sunny, and the other one's all dark and gritty. So I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought the episode was good. I'm not the biggest Arrow TV show fan. I enjoy it. I love it when they bring in more comic book characters. But for me, some of the CW-ness of it kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it, dealing with all the romantic subplots that they have going. But yeah, it definitely has flashbacks like the Arrow episodes always have. Did that work for you? The flashbacks they did?
The flashbacks I thought were a little bit drawing in the Arrow episode, but I watched. For me, I sat down and watched the Flash episode, and then immediately jumped into the Arrow episode. So, I think once you're going into it, as you're watching, I'm sitting down and I'm watching the Arrow. You know that he has flashbacks in almost every episode. So the first flashback was a little bit jarring, but I was fine with it. Like, I adjusted to it later.
Gotcha. So let's jump into the fun parts of it. They chase down a Boomerang villain. The actor is from the Spartacus show. So it was good to see him have a nice new villainous role in it.
Okay, I just wanted to say that they pulled off Captain Boomerang amazing. Like his fight choreography was awesome, and it's always hard to pull off that type of character because sometimes he comes off as a joke. Like I've seen that character, like okay, he's just a joke. He throws a boomerang, but I thought he did a really good job. Like he was a menacing Captain Boomerang. I thought.
Yeah, they did. They definitely pulled that off well. So he has some cool fight scenes, a lot of action with his character. And then at the end, he sets up multiple bombs, so who has to dissolve them? Team Flash, Team Arrow, they all have to work together. How did that work out for you?
I thought it was a pretty good plot. I can just imagine the writers sitting down there and being like, okay, we have to come up with something where there's no way the Arrow could possibly, save everything without the Flash. But it was, I thought, a good story.
Yeah.
A good use of all the characters. That was probably my favorite thing, was that every single character from Team Arrow and Team Flash actually had something to do. Then they all pitched in to help save the day.
Yeah, that was definitely good stuff. Good use of the team. One of the big plots of it was how Flash is trying to rub off on the Arrow. Do you think they handled that very well? Because they did spend a lot of time on that.
I did. The interaction between the Flash and the Arrow, or Barry and Ollie, is really good because you have two different characters. One who enjoys being the superhero and is kind of a show off, and loves he's supposed to represent the hope and the good side of I think humanity, and then you have the Arrow, who is totally different. I think he's darker and he's grittier, and he just sees the bad in criminals and people and their interaction to just rub off each other and their banter back and forth. I think it works very well.
It does, absolutely. So there you have it, guys. I'm gonna give the Arrow, the Brave and the Bold episode 3 arrows out of 4. What about yourself?
I'm the same thing. I think 3 out of 4. I'm more an Arrow fan than you are, I think. I thought it was a really, really good episode. I love seeing the interaction of the teams, and the fighting and the darkness and the choreography of it. I'm glad the episode was there, but there's so much other stuff going on, I think, in Arrow that I'm kind of excited to see that their season progress and where their storylines go.
Yeah, so we're excited. Definitely the Flash vs. Arrow crossover worked out really well. Let's hope they have more of them in the future. And to catch out more reviews, guys, just stay here.